Good morning. Welcome back to Home Life with Rebecca. I thought we'd do kind of a day in the life. I am so tired. You think with the time change I would have gotten more sleep, but not so. Kennedy has therapy today, so I've just made her some eggs and getting the kids up and ready to go to school. At least we didn't have to get up quite as early. We got like an extra half an hour since she has therapy. Otherwise, usually her bus has already come and gone and she'd already be at school, but she's requested eggs, so I made her two fried eggs and I'm going to make her some chocolate milk with almond milk because I went to Walmart yesterday and forgot my list and forgot to get regular milk. So I just dropped Kennedy off at therapy, but I can't leave. I gotta sit here today because she only has speech therapy today because her occupational therapist is on vacation, so there's not really time for me to go home and come back. But he is keeping her an extra 10 minutes, so I was thinking about maybe just walking around the parking lot, getting some steps in, even though I'm going to be walking with my friend later. I don't really want to just sit here, and I didn't want to sit inside. It's really, really hot in there, and I didn't want to take my hat off. I just spit everywhere. It's really hot in there. I didn't want to take my hat off because I didn't comb my hair, and I was like sweating in there, so that's the problem with this kind of weather is that you have to dress in layers and then you're holding stuff that you don't want to hold, and I don't know. Like sometimes I think my kids have it right when they just freeze for a couple seconds between the car parking lot and inside the school rather than bundle up and have to hold everything or shove everything into a locker. So, I mean, I get it, but I tried to call my sister yesterday, but they've been just really busy. My niece is staying over there for the next, I think, 2 months to help out. They've had a lot of visitors. He's got physical therapists coming and occupational therapists coming as well to his house. And so there just wasn't a good time to talk yesterday. So I'm hoping today to talk to her and possibly FaceTime with my brother-in-law. My mom and her husband, Ralph, are home safe. It was a pretty good visit. The last couple of days, I could tell my mom didn't feel good, and I kept asking her if she was okay, and she's like, it's just allergies, but she is sick. So I'm hoping, I think it's just a cold, but they have been saying like the C word's going around again. So I'm like, oh, I hope she doesn't have that, or we don't get it. But I think it's just probably more of she did a lot of traveling. They went, I forget the name of the place, Solvang in California for their honeymoon. And then she got really sick there, but like a different kind of sick. And then when they came back, she had like a week to recover. And then she went to San Jose for some meetings and stuff. So she was gone for a week with that. She had like, I think, a day in between that. Plus everything happened with my brother-in-law. And then she flew here. And, my mom is 74. I think she's 74. So, I mean, I know she looks really young, but I mean, she's obviously young at heart, but it's still probably hard on her body. And then you factor in, they have it's like 80 degrees where my mom lives. And then she comes here and it's in the 20s and windy and, very cold, and her body's not acclimated to that. So that's probably one of the reasons why she got sick. And I'm sure her allergies were acting up, because we have 3 cats and 2 dogs. And as much as I try to keep the house clean, pet dander can, make your eyes itch and your nose run even if you aren't allergic to cats. So I feel bad for her. But I'm glad she came. We had a nice visit. My kids got to spend some time with her and Ralph, so that was good. But I don't know. It's just been kind of a weird couple weeks. I've just been feeling, I don't know, not myself. I can't explain it. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. I'm not depressed or sad, but I just feel like blah. Does anybody ever get that way? Like, I feel like I have no motivation. So I'm trying to get myself out of it because, Vlogmas is coming up and it's holiday season. And oh, I know what I was going to share. So I'm so glad that we didn't end up purchasing a car. As nice as it is nice to have both of our vehicles completely paid off and we own them, even if, the radio doesn't work and the air doesn't work. our outside freezer broke. It wasn't sealing anymore, and I think it was from, we got it from a friend back in 2012, and they got it used. I don't even know how old it was, but I think it ran its course. And so we ended up getting a brand new one. We looked up Facebook Marketplace and some used ones, but we decided to go ahead and just get a new one. And it's so funny because what we paid for it would have been our car payment. Well, there was a couple, they were trying to work some deals, but we paid a little over $300 for the freezer outside. And they had talked about bringing our car payment down to $300, but at first it was $360, then it was $320, then it was $300. And then if they're like, if you can get it, put like $10,000 down, then we can get it down to like $280, which, obviously we didn't do any of that. But I was just thinking, wow, like that would have been a car payment, then we would have been out, over $600 versus just the $300. But now I have a new freezer. So it's officially, that doesn't make sense. Officially, all the appliances in our house have been upgraded. So if we ever do decide to sell, we could have that option of selling all the appliances with the house and not taking them with us. I know some people do that. It makes the value of the house go up. Not that we're looking to sell, but I don't know. My husband was telling me that, and I didn't realize that people did that. So I thought that was kind of cool, because we even have the new water heater downstairs. Like everything's pretty new because we've had to replace everything. So that was interesting. That freezer finally died. We actually probably could have waited a month or two because the garage is so cold. You don't even need the freezer right now, but we went ahead and he found a good deal at, where did he get it? I think it was Lowe's, so we went ahead and got it. Basically looks the same as the other one. It's a little bit bigger, so it's got a little bit more storage, but yeah, that's kind of what's been happening in my life. Trying to talk to Allie into going back to college. She says she wants to do like the dental hygienist program. She keeps telling me that you can't pick your classes yet, and I keep telling her you can. So I'm like, you better pick them, because that's, everybody wants to take those classes. So I'm afraid it's going to fill up. Parker is still not sure what he wants to do. He did get offered a job, a really good paying job, $18 an hour, 401k, health insurance, through a friend, was going to give him this job, but he turned it down because he didn't like the hours. It was 3:30 to 11 something, so like a swing shift. And I get it. He's going to be 18 on Friday, and it's just one of those lessons that he's going to have to learn. Yeah, he pays his cell phone bill and his insurance. He puts gas in the car. We haven't charged him rent or anything like that. He doesn't even have a bedroom. Like, he just kind of sleeps in the basement. But, he's got a girlfriend that he deeply cares about, and she's going off to college. Of course, she doesn't know when or where. And so I think he's trying to spend every minute he can with her. But that's why he turned the job down, because he didn't want to work opposite schedule. Because right now they're all kind of on the same schedule because they work together also. But it's not funny, but it is, because he's like, well, I work full time. And I'm like, hun, 20 hours a week isn't full time. But he's young, and one day he'll look back and think, dang, that I turned down a lot of money. And, I hope him and his girlfriend work out. I mean, when she goes out to college, we'll see if they stay together. It's young love. I remember that feeling. I remember wanting to spend every waking moment with, my first real boyfriend, and I ended up marrying him, which was the wrong thing to do. Anyway, I'm getting totally off subject, but part of me wanted to say, hey, you need to take that job. Like, you don't have a choice, but I don't think that would have been the right decision as a parent to do, because it would have forced him into something. And especially because a friend was offering it, if he ended up getting fired or, then I would have felt weird around the friend, and because it's me and Adam's friend. I didn't want to do that, so he turned it down. And I just have to look at it as a life lesson, and he is still working, and he is very young, and he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out. And same for Allie. Like, she wants to do the dental hygienist program. She's going to find out that if she doesn't pick her classes soon, she's going to miss another semester. Because she doesn't want to do like regular school, which I get. College is not for everybody. The same with her. She's talked about possibly getting another job as well because her boss doesn't give her full time. Sometimes, like some weeks she'll get 40 hours and some weeks she gets 15. So it's really all over the place. And she is paying rent now. And I've had mixed feelings because I forgot that we asked her to pay rent, and she's the one that remembered, and she was like, okay, so 150. And then I have like that soft spot. So I was like, well, you didn't work for many hours. So let's just do 115. That will include her cell phone bill because she was trying to pay me at the same time. And so my husband's like, but that's not even $100. And I'm like, I know. He's like, that's not going to help her in the real world. And I'm like, I know. So I told her the other day, I'm like, you probably need to find another job, but you can't do that until you get your license. So I said, you have a month to study, and then you need to go take the test, because right now she doesn't even have a permit. It's like legally I can't even practice with her because her permit expired, and when she went to go renew it to get an ID, they made her take the written test and she didn't pass it. But she's smart, and as soon as she realizes that she is capable to do it, like she gets that confidence, then I think that fear will go away with the driving. So I said, let's put a time limit on this. You have 1 month to go take that written test so we can move forward. Because if she wants to get a different job, she needs to drive herself there. Because I can't get everybody where they need to be. So we've been very lucky with the kids all having jobs where they can walk to work. So right now I've got Parker, Tiffany, and Wesley all working at Geraldine's Bakery, which is right down the street from our house. And then Allie works at a like copy place, kind of like a UPS, but like a mom and pop place, which is like the field across from where the other kids work. So it's all walkable. I mean, sometimes I give them rides when it's really cold, but it's not far. Like, so if they have to walk, they can, or if they have to ride their bikes or whatever, it's not very far. But she's just not getting the full-time hours that she needs. But if she does decide to do the school and she gets into the classes that she wants, again, like she needs to get a license because I can't be everywhere at once. And my husband's like, she can just walk to school. It's not, I mean, it's close, but it's not that close, especially when we hit negative weather and she's trying to carry a backpack and books and stuff. I don't think that's a good idea, but it's up to me to get her there. And so again, I can't be everywhere at once. And then we have the issue if Allie does get her license, that car is technically ours. It's in our name, but she paid like $1,300 for some of those repairs. Parker's paid nothing but putting gas into it, but he's kind of taken over it and he's got the mindset that it's his when it's not. So I told him they need to sit down, him and Allie need to sit down and talk and get our name off of it and put it in one of their names. But if Parker decides to do that, I think he needs to pay Allie back that $1,300 that she put into it. I think that's fair. Or she'll want to just have the car. Like she might want it back if she gets her license. She probably will. And then Parker's going to have to figure it out because he can't be taking our cars all the time. I can't be without a car if they call me to pick up Kennedy or one of the kids gets sick and he's off doing, whatever. He'll have to figure it out. Like, then he might be wishing that he took that job that paid $18 an hour. But again, they're young and I made all the same mistakes and they are like, oh, you're kind of nagging us and yeah, I know you told me and blah, blah, blah. And I remember saying it to my parents. Like, I remember my mom and dad saying, hey, if you don't go to college, you need to work full time. And I remember just being like, oh, I can't do that because I want to see my boyfriend and he's going to leave because he was in the military and he was going to get stationed somewhere else. And I needed to spend every waking minute I could with him. And I remember being aggravated at my parents that they just didn't understand. It was different. And you know what? It wasn't. We ended up getting married for the wrong reasons. I mean, we thought we loved each other, but basically it's because we couldn't figure out how to be apart from each other. So we got married way too young. And it didn't work out. It didn't, from I got married at 19, and from 19 to age 23, when we finally got divorced, well, we only really lived together for a year before we legally got divorced. There's a lot of growth that happens and a lot of changes. I mean, even from 23 till the time I was 30, like 28 years old, that was when I had my first child, like so many changes, like you just grow up. And but everything happens for a reason, and I got to look at it that way too. They've got to make mistakes and learn from it. So, and it's different now than it was when I was that age. You could almost make it on minimum wage, and I got paid a little bit more than minimum wage. I had my own apartment for a few months before my other. I don't know if you guys realize I was married 3 times, so there's a whole story with that. But I paid my bills. I worked full time. I went to school. I got my degree in child development. I never finished it. Like, I got my certificate, I should say. But it was hard. I had to struggle. But nowadays, like, it's even harder, because even if you make over minimum wage, it's hard to get by. I mean, places everywhere are outrageous. I mean, just from us when we moved here, like, to rent and stuff, like, it's not the same. People are paying, like, when we moved from California, our rent was $2,100, I think. I can't, maybe it was $2,250. And we couldn't make it on that. And my husband was making 60 something an hour. When he got hurt, like, the workman's comp didn't even cover our rent. That's why we sold everything and we moved here, because he could get the disability from California, but on Idaho wages, cost of living was cheaper. Well, it's not like that anymore, because everybody's moved here, which has made everything go up in price. So yeah, like, it is different, but we're trying to give them options and do the best that we can do with trying to teach them, and not being too controlling, because you don't want to do that either. It's hard. It's hard. Every stage of having kids is so hard. Like, the baby stage is hard. Look, I'm not even going on my walk, because I'm just sitting. I don't think this is going to be a day in the life, because I'm just chatting your ear off, but that's okay. I needed to talk. I hope nobody's looking at me like, what is that crazy lady talking to herself? They probably just think I was on the phone, because everybody does that. Anyway, it is hard every stage. I remember when I'd bring them home from the hospital, that the infant stage, and I would just tell myself, okay, just the first 6 weeks are so hard, because you're so sleep deprived and you're learning your child. Like, every child's different. Like, their sleeping patterns are different, their eating habits are different. Allie, my first, it was very hard, because even though I worked with kids and infants, it's different when you clock out at 6 o'clock at night. And I was by myself. Like, for the most part, I was married to my ex. We lived in Texas, and 3 days after we got there, he told me that the job there didn't work out. Maybe I'll tell that story one day. I might have, I don't remember. But he had to work 20 days out of the month in Baltimore. And so I was left with no car, no nothing, and a baby, and no family, no friends, no anything. And man, it was rough. Like, I wouldn't want to go back to that time. I loved her, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have any help whatsoever. And then when we had moved finally to California, we lived with my mom, and I had Parker. Now I was struggling with, he left, and I was a single mom, and I had to go get on cash aid and get on food stamps and find a job, and I had these 2 babies that were only like they're like 14 and a half months apart, and it was a struggle. And thankfully, I had my mom, but as soon as I could, I moved in with my dad, and I paid him rent, and I worked full time. Luckily, my kids got to go to work with me, but it was hard. It was hard. Like, now, if I would have finished my degree, I could have made more, but it was a struggle. And then, I met Adam, and we had Tiffany, and we had Wesley, and the babies were back to back. So you're trying to learn the new baby schedules, you're not getting any sleep. And then all of a sudden I had 4 in diapers all at once, and all the kids were in car seats, and I had my nephew's kids as well. And not all the time, but like I would babysit for them quite a bit. And so my oldest nephew, Preston, my great nephew, he was a few months younger than Wesley. And I did, watch him a lot, but I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm so like physically tired, and the crying and the feedings and just having no energy, and then being pregnant. It was a lot. But I also loved every stage. Like I miss the baby stage. I miss how easy it was to go buy presents for them, because they were happy with whatever they got, and clothes were cheaper. And then you get into the teenage years, and I feel like nobody prepares you for that. I mean, now I know because we've taken some classes and stuff, but it's like they turn 13 and everything gets flipped on its head. And again, they all have different personalities. So you're trying to figure out the personalities and what works. And then as a parent, because you've never been here before, like you have to figure out your own emotions, because it's a different kind of tired. It's an emotional being tired. Like you're still up at night, you're still not getting sleep because they need to be home by curfew. Like I hope they're driving safe, like just everything that you worry about. Like, and then you get into even adult children, because Allie's 19, Parker's almost 18, and it's still hard because you're like, hey, we need to make some life decisions, like you need to figure something out, like the world's hard, like, but we're trying to give them the confidence and show them what they need to do to spread their wings. But you also have to let them fall. You have to let them make those mistakes to learn from. And that's hard because you want to be their safety net. You want to rescue them all the time. I'm especially guilty of that, whereas my husband's not as bad. I suffer with a lot of guilt, like, oh, I should have done this. I should do this. I can't let them do that. I don't want to upset them, because we've been through some major trauma with our kids, which I will not go into because it's private, but because of it, it's left me vulnerable as well, where I struggle with, if I don't do this, I don't want something terrible to happen type of feeling. And actually, because I've been feeling blah, not depressed, I don't feel depressed. I actually made an appointment with my therapist that I was seeing like a year ago. Said, hey, I need to probably come have some sessions, clear my head, that type of thing. It won't hurt. So I think that's important. I got to take care of myself as well. But yeah, so this really did not turn into a day in the life. It's already almost time to go back in there and get Kennedy. That's okay. I did my arm workout. Look, I'm already going to a different subject. I did my arm workout, the little 5-minute one. And I'll go take Kennedy to school, and then I'll call my friend and probably do 3 laps at the park, because the later we get into the season, the harder it's going to be to walk outside all the time because of the black ice and snow and stuff. So I'm trying to get as many outside walks in as I can before I have to start doing inside workouts. I don't mind the inside workouts. Like once I start doing them, I'm fine, but it's getting started. Like I have no problem going on the walk. Like I like to be outside. In fact, when my mom was here, I was kind of struggling because it was too cold for her, and I knew she didn't feel good, and I can't sit like that. Like it's hard for me to sit like that all day. So especially because I don't want to go in my room and like color, work on my happy planner, and then sleep her in the living room. And she kept telling me, you don't have to entertain me, but I wanted to be with her. But like when they left and it was like 4:30 in the afternoon, she was like, you're going to go on a walk, aren't you? And I was like, no. Because she's like, well, you're all bundled up. I'm like, well, I went outside to pick up dog poop because my kids forgot to do it. And so when they left, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go on a walk. And I walked for like an hour and it was freezing, but it felt so good to move my body. And so, where was I going with that? Yeah, I want to get in all the walks that I can before there'll be some days where it'll just be too cold to go outside and walk. But sorry, this was all over the place, but I am going to do some day in the lives. Oh, I was going to show you, my mom bought me a sweater. It's just blue. Nothing fancy. And Vlogmas is coming up. I was rewatching a lot of our old Vlogmases so I can kind of I want to try to make a schedule this year, so I'm not just waking up and thinking, oh, what the heck am I gonna film today? So Saturday is the Nogathon, where you drink eggnog and run half a mile. Like, so every time you do the lap, you have to down some eggnog. So I'm gonna vlog that. He did find somebody that is a professional videographer that is going to be taking over the city vlogs. He's like, I don't want to step on your toes, but you know, this person, and they're probably going to pay him. They tried to pay me. I wouldn't let them because it's a hobby. I don't have the right equipment. And I just told him that that's fine. I was doing it to help out, to get experience, and they gave us some pool passes. But I did tell him, like, I am going to probably still come, excuse me, and vlog some of it, even though none of my kids are running in it, because I wanted to put together like an end of the year thing for him, kind of like I do with my family, like of the city events. So I would need the eggnog run, but I think he is going to be using somebody else for the city vlogs, which it makes me sad, but at the same time I get it. Like, all I have is my phone. I mean, I have that one camera, but it's not really a camera for that kind of thing. It's for this. I really should use it for this. It's a vlogging camera. So sometimes my videos, when they play them on Facebook or whatever, they're grainy. I don't know, but I'm sure the guy that's going to do it is, 20 times better than me if he's got professional equipment and professional editing stuff. So, and a drone. Sometimes I had to take the city's drone footage and incorporate it into my videos. But, it's been a fun 2 years. He's not saying that I can't vlog it for my own enjoyment. Plus, like, it is kind of hard when I vlog because to just like vlog random people when they see some crazy with the phone. Like, why are you filming my family or whatever? Versus somebody that's got professional equipment that actually works for the city is going to be different. But I don't know. I was sad, but I understand. Like, he wasn't trying to be mean about it. He was just like, has somebody that can do professional work. But I don't know. Even though nobody really watches them, I think I do a pretty good job from doing it on my phone. I always try to get the clips to match the beat of the music and stuff. So, and I think that guy has a way of using mainstream music too without getting like copyrighted. Like, I don't know how to do that. I've seen other like bigger YouTubers do that. I don't know how to do that. So because he's asked to use like certain songs, like for when I did the baseball ones for him, like some Beatles songs, and I'm like, I can't because it won't let me publish them unless I do reels, like on Instagram or YouTube shorts. But he wanted longer videos, and so I couldn't figure it out. So I don't know. Now this video was super long. All right, I'm gonna go in there and use the toilet because now I have to pee from sitting in here, and go pick up Kennedy, take her to school. My water's frozen. That's just from sitting in our garage overnight. Take Kennedy to school, call my friend, go on a walk, and I forgot to take out the stew meat. I was gonna make beef stew. I always forget to take out the meat. So now I don't know what I'm doing for dinner. But yeah. All right, guys. Chicken tendies. Thanks for letting me vent, and leave me a comment. Tell me, if you know what I mean about the kid thing. And every stage is hard, but also every stage is wonderful because you're seeing who they're going to become too. So I wouldn't trade being a mom for anything, but it really is the hardest job that I've ever had. All right, guys. Chicken tendies. Bye.